approach. Okay. So in the cash balance approach, okay, demand for money is nothing but demand for cash. Okay, demand for cash. Okay, apart from what you required for spending. So given the money supply, okay, part of the money you are keeping for transaction purpose, part you will demand cash as a store of value. Okay, because money has other function, store of value. So money demand will be some proportion of your value of output. Okay, so this equation, what does this K means? Okay, this K means money demand is proportion to your value of output. Okay, and this K is constant. Okay, and this we call Cambridge constant. This is a proportional relationship between money demand and value of output, right? When I am writing in a ratio form, it is called proportional relationship. Okay, the technical notes that I have given, technical video, everyone has seen it. Okay, so this K represents proportional relationship between these two. Okay, now what I am saying is that for the given output level, okay, this proportional relationship will hold. That means K is given. Okay, when output level is given, this K is given. Now I am going to explain that part. Okay, in whatever reading I have gone through, okay, nobody has explained, but I am going to explain. So I write this equation in this form. Okay. Now look at this K. What is this? Money demand over price level, right? So what is this? Real demand for money. Agree? When I divide by price level, it will become real. So this is my real demand for money. Okay. So once the output level is given, okay, my real demand for money will be proportional to real output. Let's look at this equation in this form. Okay, MD by P equal KY. Right? Once the output level is given, okay, my money demand or real money balance, okay, will be proportional to your output level. Right? Now it is about real money demand, right? Real quantity, right? Yes or no? Agree? Okay. So for whatever reason, if my price level increases, my nominal money demand can increase, right? So that this proportion not change. Agree, everyone? What I am saying, that second statement, what I am saying, okay, I am going to explain how price level increase. What I am explaining that this proportion, okay, will remain constant, okay, for the given output level. So I am giving explanation for that part. Okay, if the output level is given, this proportion K will not change. Okay, so this explanation pretend to that. Okay, so for any region, if price level increases, okay, for any level, price level increases, money demand must increase, so that this proportion must not change. I want this proportion to be constant. Then money demand must increase in proportion, right? Yes or no? Okay. Why? Because this proportion, what is this? Real money balance is proportion to output, right? Once the output level is given, okay, once the output level is given, if price level increases, so what happened to your real money balance? It decreases, right or not? So this must be decreasing, but I said that this proportion will remain constant. That means price level must increase. Agree, everyone? Okay, let me do one more time. Okay, I understand the issue. Don't worry. Yeah, I am doing it. So this is the technical part that you should remember at the back of your head. Okay, those who want to do research, it will be useful to do that later on. Okay, so what I am doing is saying is that money demand is some proportion of value of output. Okay, proportion to your value of output. So this proportion, the relationship between money demand and nominal value of output will not change. Okay, what I am saying is that if price level increases for whatever level, this nominal money will also increase in the same way. Okay, such that the proportion will remain the same if your output level is given Y bar. Okay, your cash balance that you are holding, okay, it is not constant in nominal term, but in real term it is constant. Okay, this is what I want to say. This is what I am going to explain. Okay, so look at this equation. Money demand is proportional to your nominal value of output. Agree? Okay. Second thing I'm saying that look at this term md by p into 1 by y. I just write this separately equal k. Okay. Or I can say this k represents proportional relationship between money demand and value of output, right? Money demand and value of output. Same thing I have written, right? I just have separated it, right? Okay. So this is what real demands for money. Real demand for money given the output level. Okay. Real demand for money is constant. Given the output level, this real demand for money is constant. Agree? Okay. Money demand is some proportion to your nominal value of output. Okay. So what I am saying is that let me write this again in this form. Let me keep this here and this here. Okay. This term is given. Okay. Once the proportion is determined, I know that okay. I look at the data. Okay. In your Kenas data, suppose in general. Okay. So I keep as cash balance say 70%. Okay. Pratik keep as 60%. Okay. Ponami keep as 40%. Okay. Raj keep as say 30%. Suman keep as say 60%. Okay. As cash balance. So when I take out the average, on average, suppose this K turn out to be 0.5. Okay. Given the income level in aggregate or output level in aggregate, this K will be given for this output level. Everyone agree? Okay. Individually it can differ because it is a behavioral question, right? So how much cash balance that one person want to keep and other person want to keep, it can differ. Okay. But on an aggregate, it fluctuates around 0.5. It will be on average 0.5. Okay, that I know. That we know. Okay. So this is what I am saying. Okay. Your real demand for cash balance or real cash balance will be proportional to your given output level. Okay. So this proportion will not change if your output level is given. Okay. Okay. So what I am saying that if price level increases, if price level increases, this proportion is not going to change. So money demand will also increase in the same proportion. So we are getting proportional relationship between money demand and price level. Agree? Everyone? Okay, good. If you have gone through the example that I have done in the video with my hand, so you will see that when price level is 10, okay, let me do that example better later on I will do. I don't remember exactly, okay, because when I am doing, I don't make out the example, I just go with flow. Okay, so just help me out with that example if somebody has done it already. Okay. So what I am writing, money demand is proportional to your value of output. Okay, proportion means money demand divided by value of output. Okay, so this I have written. This I have this equation. Okay, and second I am saying that suppose okay, let first write this. This money supply is determined by monetary authority. Okay, and in equilibrium, money demand must be equal to money supply, right? Demand for money must be equal to supply of money. Okay, so money demand equal to money supply, and that will determine my value of money. My value of money. Now why I am saying value of money? Who has done the example that I have given? With my hand 9 minutes video. Anyone has done it? Yes, no? Okay. So let me try it. Okay. So I don't know I remember or not. Okay. Let me see. So this I have money demand equal K say 0.5. Okay. And this is a price is something and quantity how much I have taken. Anyone done it? Quantity is 50. Okay, let me check because so here I have price level, and here I have money demand. Okay, I will plot this one. So when I have price level 10, then this will be 500. Price level 20, this will be 1000. Then there will be proportional relation 30, 1500, 40, 2000. Okay, let me pronounce this one. So I have taken price level here, money demand and money supply here. Okay, so right now I am just noting this money demand function. Okay, so I am taking this 500. So keep this equidistance when you are taking 500. Okay, 500 when 0, price level is 0, this is 0. So it will start from 4. This is 1000, 1k. This is 1.5k. This is 2k. Okay, and then you have 10. Keep equidistant when you are taking whatever. Okay, axis 20, 30, 40. When price level is 10, your money demand is 500, 20 is 1000. Similarly, you join on the points. Okay, point, write it properly. Okay, so I will get a proportional relationship between money demand and price level. Okay, this is money demand equal KPY. Okay, I can write like this. Okay, or given output level, or I can write like this: MD over P for given by some proportion K. What is that proportion here? Just check it out. It is 0.5, right? So just take it out. Change in MD, or you can just write simply now. Money demand over P into your output level is 50. How much is it? So here you just write 10, 10. Okay. And what is the price level? Write it. You will take it. Okay. Now money demand is 500. Here you have 10. Yes. Because we are looking at money, quantity of money. That is why. Right? We are looking at money. We can take the supply. Okay. So this is what you have. Okay. Suppose monetary authority decide that okay, money supply will be 500. No, 1000. Okay. So this is monetary authority decide. This is your money demand function. Okay. So what will be the price level? 20. Agree? Okay. Suppose monetary authority want to increase the money supply. Okay. In equilibrium, money demand equal to money supply, right? So I will get what? Value of money. Why? M will be equal to this proportion K Py, right? At this point, what is the value of KPY? 1000, right? Okay. So this is demand for money, okay, and this is supply of money. Both are equal. Agree? Okay. And this 1000 demand for money you have here. Okay. Next, second thing what I am saying that suppose money supply increases, say to 1.5. This is your money supply, right? The money supply increases, then what will happen? Price level will increase, right? Price level will increase to 30. My axis is not good, okay? Just make it properly. It should be increasing to 30. Okay. What is the reason for price level to increase? Because this K, okay, the money demand as a proportion of nominal income, okay, that people want to keep, okay, with them is constant. And I have given you the background reason why it is constant, right? Money demand over price level, okay, equal K by Y. So when price level increases, okay, in order for proportion to be constant, money demand must be increasing by same proportion. Agree? Yes or no? So that real cash balance remains the same. Okay. So here I am talking about real cash balance. Okay. People will keep cash balance in the same proportion. Okay. So this K represents proportional relationship between money demand and value of output. Okay. Since output level is given, Okay. When price level increases, money demand must increase in the same proportion so that this K remain constant. Okay. So here, when your money supply increases, okay, price level increases. Okay. So money demand must increase in the same proportion so that this proportional relationship maintained. Okay. Agree everyone? Okay. This is the graph you have. Okay. You can take the screenshot if you want, but I think I have covered in the video already this part. Okay. Oh, take it screenshot. Okay, next. Now I am showing you that you can draw in whatever way you want, no issue. Okay. No one is going to question you why you have drawn this way that. Right now I am not teaching you the position of this long term, whether it will be steeper or flatter. Okay. That we will do. Let's see, we have time, or when you will do consumption function theories with me, this will be clear how much. Or let's say in the Keynesian we are doing. Okay, I don't know exactly, but some part we are going to do. Okay, it's also required 3-4 hours. Develop that concept. Okay, so let's draw the graph. Okay, so this is your money demand. Is some proportion to your value of output, right? Agree? So let's take money demand here, money supply this side, okay, no problem. And here taking, see output level given, I take value of output, okay. Or you can add nominal value of output, or you just take price level. It will not change anything because output level is given, okay. If you remember the neighbor demand that we are driving, marginal product of neighbor time price neighbor, right? Curve is not changing, shape of the curve is not changing, right? Yes or no? When we are taking out value of marginal product of neighbor, which is the demand curve of neighbor in the classical model. So here this is given by output neighbor, okay? So if you write or not write, it means the same thing. You can write the price neighbor, okay? No problem. Now, there is a proportional relationship between money demand and value of output. Agreed? For the given output level. Agreed? I am saying for the given output level, there is a proportional relationship between nominal money demand, okay, or demand for cash balance, and nominal value of output. Okay. So let's draw that curve. Okay. This will be the curve. So there is no change in this curve, right? Right? Money supply is determined by monetary authority. It is independent of your price level. So price level is 10, 20, 30, 40. It does not matter. It will be like this. This is your money supply. Okay. When I am taking here, price is here. It doesn't matter. Price will be like this. Okay. Okay. So this is the value, demand for money. This is demand for money. This equation. Okay. And here is the value determined. And this is supply of money, this is equilibrium, here value of money determined. Agree everyone? Okay. So what I am saying that here whatever be the price level, given the output level, price level 10, 20, 30, 40, okay. Money supply is determined by monetary authority. Since I have taken money supply here, this is the money supply determined by monetary authority. Okay. Say 1000. This is my money supply. Okay. When monetary authority increase the money supply to 1500, okay, MS plan. And see, this is 1000. This should be here. Okay. So both have some limitation. When you draw the graph properly. Okay. This will be here. When money supply increases, money supply will be determined by monetary authority. So this is given to us. Okay. When money supply increased by the monetary authority exogenously determined outside the model, okay. When money supply increases, what will happen? When money supply increases, look at this equation. Okay, look at this equation. Money demand is some proportion to your value of output. Okay, and in equilibrium, M must be equal. Money demand must be equal to money supply, which is equal to M. M must be equal to this term. Agree? Okay. So now this M increases. This M is greater than this term. Okay. That means money supply is greater than what you demand. Okay, because proportional relationship is given already. So when you have extra cash money with you, okay, when you have extra money with you, what you will do with extra money? You will want to buy more good and service. Okay, since the output never is given, okay, so more money is changing fewer amount of goods. Okay, the same amount of goods is changed by more money, right? So what will happen? Price never will rise. Price never will rise. Okay, when price never will rise, this equality will again be maintained. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so this is what you have. Okay, in the theory. Okay, I don't know why I have done that on that day. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to do. Okay, and there is anything else? Okay, one more thing, let me add it. Okay, so I talk about that in the velocity approach. Okay, in this V term, okay, demand for money is inherent, right? This is what I talk about, right? Okay, so that thing also means it will be clear when we are doing it. Okay, let me do it. Let me do it. Then I will give the loss. Okay. So money demand is some proportion of your value of output. Okay. And money supply is determined by monetary authority, say M. Initially it is 1000 in our example. Okay. In equilibrium, okay. Suppose economy is in equilibrium, whatever way you want to write, money demand must be equal to money supply. That will determine the value of money, M. Okay. And it will be proportion to your value of output. Okay. Now, I am going to look and compare, okay, this Cambridge formulation with velocity formulation. Okay. In the Cambridge formulation, they are using the same thing. They are also using the amount of money, right? Quantity of money. They are talking about money. They are talking about output. They are talking about price level, and they are talking about how money is moving, right? Velocity, a kind of velocity. When we make the assumption, we will know. Their velocity is fixed, right, by institutional factor. Yes or no? In the velocity formula, here we are saying that it depends on behavior. How much cash you want to own, how much cash I want to own, how much cash other people want to own. So it is a behavioral thing, K. Okay. On an aggregate, okay, on an aggregate, money demand will be proportional to your value of output. This is what we are saying. Okay. So it is more indexed version. Here money demand is given directly. Okay, and we know money act as a store of value. Money demand will be some proportion to your value of output. Okay, simple thing. And money supply is exogenously determined. It is determined by the monetary authority. And when we have a situation like this. Okay. Next. Suppose the output is determined exogenously, say by neighbor market condition. Okay. We have neighbor demand, neighbor supply, that determines this output demand. So it is determined, say Y bar. I am not writing Y star. Okay. I am writing Y bar. Okay. Second, this is K. What is K? What is K? Yeah, what is Cambridge constant? Correct. No. Money demand as a proportion of output. Yeah, that is Cambridge constant. Money demand as a proportion of value of output. Okay. What is K? K is money demand as a proportion of output. Okay. And it is constant. Okay. And it is constant because it is associated with Cambridge. So we write Cambridge constant. Okay. That is what I am going to show. Only making this assumption, I can show that thing, right? I have to take this constant, output constant, then only I can show the relationship between these two. That is, I am going to show it again. Okay. Okay. So we have, after having these two specifications, like when I am doing what actually equation of exchange, I have converted into theory of money, right? By taking some assumption. Yes or no? Okay. So here also I am taking some assumption to convert this cash balance approach, okay, equivalent to velocity approach. This is what I am doing. Okay. Now look at this equation. So I can write this equation M. I can take this here into 1 by K equal Py. So this thing look exactly as MV equal Py, right? Yes or no? Right? But what is K here in the Cambridge formulation? Money demand as a proportion of your value of output, right? Yes or no? So this V term, okay, implicitly have money demand function in it, right? Agree? So in V, velocity is what? How we are spending the money, right? How we are spending the money, because they are talking about a medium of action. Money has only one node, medium of action, and it is a supply that determine output, right? So supply that determine on the factor in the economy, right? So this quantity of money, okay, this quantity of money will form the basis of supply of money. Okay, is it clear? What I am saying, that this quantity of money, okay, is the basis of your supply of money. Whatever be the quantity of money is the supply of money in the economy, right? Okay, this V term is nothing but this term if we are taking these two assumptions, right? So what is this term? This is what? Money demand as a proportion of your value of output. So this V term is nothing, right? It is implicitly saying that it is demand for money, right? And demand has no role to play in the classical approach, because you know that on the reasoning, right? Here also it is a quantity of money, okay, that form the basis for the supply of money, right? It is determining the supply of money in simple word, right? So this formulation of velocity approach, okay, it also have this money demand function, but it is passive, okay, and here it is through supply side of money we are determining the quantity theory of money, okay. Here they are propagating the demand side, okay. If the money supply increases, okay, what will happen? People keep some, people already know what proportion of cash balance they want to keep, okay. So when they have extra cash, when money supply increases, they want to purchase more of goods and services, okay. Since the output level is given, price level will rise. So here how prices are increasing you will know, but here we don't have any explanation. Given the velocity determined by institution factor, output is determined by full employment level. So this is a long-term concept. So when quantity of money increases, price level will increase, right? Agree? But here we don't have any. Here we don't have any explanation. Here we have explanation how price level is determined. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. Apart from this, let me compare the both theories side by side. Okay? So in the velocity formulation, this V is mechanic. So look, mechanic, why this demand for money if we consider, okay, implicit demand for money. This is given by institution factor, they are saying, right? So this is a kind of mechanical formula. What is this quantity of money? Whether it is demand for money or supply of money. When we look at this form, it's not clear, right? It's not confusing. Agree everyone? Okay. So this look more confusing, more mechanical. Okay. When quantity of money increases, price level increases. So this is nothing. If this is constant, this increases, this increases to maintain equality. It looks like a mechanical rule. Okay. 2 plus 2 equal 2 plus 2. When this I increase it by 3, this must increase by 3, right? Then the equality will maintain, right? Okay, so it looks mechanic. Here, what they are saying that this K, okay, here you money demand, okay, you demand money because money act as a store of value, right? And this behavior, it depends on behavior, right? How much money you want to keep, right? How much cash balance you want to keep, right? So here they are talking about behavioral aspect, okay? The money demand as a proportion of output, it depends on behavioral aspect, right? Agree? Okay. Second thing, what we have, when I am converting this equation of exchange into theory of money, okay, I am saying that this output level is determined by full employment level. So first argument is about institutional factors they are talking. So this V is fixed, okay, and it looks more mechanical. Second I am saying is that when I am converting this theory, okay, this equation of exchange into theory, we are taking this to be what? Full input and output level, right? So determined from the supply side, in the long run. Okay, so I get a proportional relationship between these two in the long run. Okay, next, this is what we have problem, not problem. In the velocity formulation, we talk about long run, right? Here we are talking about short run. Okay. Third thing is that this focus on the supply side of money, and this focus cash balance approach focus on the demand side of money. Okay, and fourth is that money demand is implicit here in the velocity formulation. Here it is explicitly present. Okay, and the last thing is that price, we don't know how price is determined. Here we know price is determined. Okay, so this is the comparison between these two. You have to write in a more elaborate way. Okay, because I have developed quantity. So, and next we can talk about criticism. So, I am talking criticism in general. Okay, it can be applied to both theory, velocity formulation as well as cash balance formulation. So, I will be giving only that criticism so that you can understand. Okay, I am not giving some other criticism that you cannot associate right now. Okay, that is sufficient. Okay, so both approach is based on truism. Okay, truism basically means that whatever equation is given, this equation and this equation, we cannot explain more than what is given in the equation. Okay, so how the price level is changing, what is the dynamics of the price level. Okay, we cannot talk more about that, right? So this is more of a truism kind of equation. Okay, so we cannot explain more than whatever variable is given. Okay, second thing is that when here in this approach, okay, when money supply increases, it is more than money demand, price level will increase. Okay, we are not talking about a dynamism of the price level, how price level is changing over time. Okay, and what are the other factors? The other factors also that are influencing the price level, that we are not talking. Even in the long run, and the short run price may be sticky also, right? When we do the Keynes, we will learn that the price are sticky in the short run. In the long run, it is flexible. There are many factors that is affecting the price level. Okay. Third thing is that this money demand, okay, is basically depend on the rate of interest. Okay, Keynes also have contributed in this cash balance approach, but he has developed theory later on. Okay, where he has shown that money demand is a function of rate of interest. Okay, so when rate of interest fall, money demand will increase. Okay, I will show it. That is why it is negatively slow. Okay, that we are going to do. So rate of interest is not considered in this money demand function. Okay. And here it is showing that money demand is inelastic of rate of interest. Okay, so it is not influenced by money demand, rate of interest. So I am writing rate of interest here, here money demand. So money demand will be like this. See the function. Does it have any rate of interest? No, right? Yes or no? Money demand is some proportion of value of output. So when I am drawing with respect to rate of interest is not determining money demand, right? Agree? Okay, so it will be like this. But Keynes has shown that in the Keynes formulation, okay, that I have drawn, you have a function like this, money demand. Okay, that I am going to explain. When rate of interest decreases, you want to own more of cash. Okay, for speculative purpose. That I am going to discuss later. Okay, so that is also one of the criticism of this theory. Okay, and yes, and one more thing is that we are saying that this K is proportional to your output level, value of output or output level. Okay, this output level. Okay, but output level can also change. Okay, there are other factor. One is that output level can also change. Okay, there are other factor that can influence this holding of money, not only output level, right? This proportion of money demand is proportion of your value per output, right? So you are holding cash as a store of value. Okay, only as a proportion of output, but there are many factors that is affecting your holding of money. Okay, that is also not considered in this theory. Okay, so this is the criticism of both theory in general. Okay? So if they ask you velocity approach, you can talk about velocity approach. Okay, and how we can make improvement over the velocity approach. We can talk about cash balance approach, and if they ask about criticism, you can talk about this criticism. Is it clear? Okay, I am giving notes just 5 minutes.